guys, welcome to the corner that is my room. This is another 29 Days of Freya video, and to start it all off right, on my new altar for Freya, I have candles lit, so I'm staring at that. So this video is going to be a does Freya work with other deities well kind of thing, and my experience in her working with some of the deities I work with. My experience in working with Freya, I guess I don't really have a patron god. Of course, Freya is my matron. My patron is not really necessarily a god, quote unquote, but he is a fairy king. For those of you who don't know, I work with Finvara, and I mean, by all rights, he deserves title of god because he is basically like an energy of one to me. But I don't think he really likes too much the term god anyways. So for this video's sake, we'll just call him King or Finvara. So my experience in working with both of them is pretty good. I mean, they don't really do, I don't know, like I call them sometimes for certain workings together. They work okay together. There's no like, I just wouldn't say they're not necessarily close, you know what I mean? They work together for the sake of me, like in order to help me with things, but they don't hate each other. It's more of like an acquaintance work, like there's nothing really great outside of that, or a relationship between them two, no. So yeah, with Freya and Finvara, they can work together to like get the job done or anything, but like I wouldn't group them together all the time. Although I suspect there are very few of you that actually work with Finvara out there, so in that case, I think you're safe. The next main energy that I've worked with, including Freya, is would be the goddess Lilith. And I know a lot of you have worked with Lilith out there. Not everyone, but she's a pretty popular goddess. I mean, it's really funny actually, because I find that Freya and Lilith get along as though they are sisters or they are best friends in a sense. They get along very well. They talk to each other. They have a kinship together, in my opinion. I find oftentimes they will talk amongst themselves when I'm there. Like, they're not always just talking only to me. Like with Finvara and Freya, it's more they both talk directly to me. They don't really talk off to the side too often. If they were, I might be worried as to what they're discussing in order to teach me a lesson or something. That might be scary. Or interesting, who knows. But with Lilith and Freya, they do talk outside of my relationship with both of them. And Lilith kind of has, I don't know, I feel like Lilith doesn't like me that much, but I think it's mostly from my side. Like, I don't really like the way she goes about showing me things. She has quite a shock tactic of trying to get things through to me, usually through death, and I'm not that comfortable with seeing dead animals or seeing animals die in front of me. She is more sarcastic than anything, probably one of the most sarcastic deities I've worked with, if you can call it working with, because it's kind of distant. Yeah, her and Freya get along just fine. She kind of just takes jabs at me and will say like, wow, she doesn't understand what you're talking about. She ain't very bright, is she? And she's like talking to Freya over in their corner. And Freya's like, no, she's doing okay, but like, you know, is kind of chuckling at the same time, like, haha, funny jokes. And I'm like, y'all are talking about me behind my back, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess it's fine. The last goddess I have experience with Freya being in workings with is the goddess Brigid. And it's kind of interesting because I really don't work with her too much outside of Imbolg. I usually honor her specifically during that holiday, which that is coming up, so fun. But the experiences I've had with Brigid are very sacred to me, and she's a very beautiful, strong, motherly goddess. And again, I think it's kind of like that Finvara scale as well, where Freya works with Bridget, but I'm not sure if there's actually an outside relationship. I haven't really asked her on that one. But they seem to get along well. So I think that relationship is pretty good. Probably because they both connect on the energy of being motherly and nurturing in some aspects. Although I'd like to think Freya takes it up a notch with her wild side. I don't want to say she's not wild. Like, she can definitely be wild, but Bridget to me more sits on the gentle mother, but also the protective mother. So she may be gentle, but if you like fuck with her children or fuck with her in any ways, like, it's mama bear coming out. That's how I kind of feel about her. Freya kind of, I think, would take it up a notch. She likes manipulation, but not in a bad way. I think she just likes to be in control of everything. Which is probably one of the reasons why I connect with her well. I'm kind of the same way. I like to have control over situations if I can. I'd also like to say, if you batch her up with another deity, I would definitely try it at least once to see how she works with them. Obviously, if you see a restrictive point where she really doesn't like that person or deity or whatever, I would leave that be and not bring that up to her again, because she's like I said, she's very straightforward. She doesn't beat around the bush with things. If she doesn't like somebody, she'll let you know. Most of the time I've had the experience that she's very chill. I'd be interested to see how she works with Loki, just because in the mythology, there's a lot of trouble that starts up from Loki, usually calling Freya a slut in some manner. So that might be a relationship you could watch out for. But I don't think she hates Loki. I just think she gets irritated by him. And he's just like one that feels off of that. And she knows that. Like, she knows that he tries to, it's like a prankster manner, right? So she's like, like, I see what you're doing, but I'll still allow myself to be irritated if you're being a dick, you know what I mean? So yeah, maybe that one. But most other relationships I haven't really seen a problem with, and I think she is usually a pretty easygoing goddess for the most part. Not to say that she can't be stubborn or feisty, because there's a lot of that. Anyways, that is my video today on working with Freya and other deities. If you have had any other deities that you've worked with, including Freya, please let me know your experience on that. I'd love to see that, and I'm sure everyone else would love to see that below. If you don't have the same experiences that I've had, that's okay, because we're all different people, am I right? Different perspectives and whatnot. So if one of the ones I listed, you're like, no, Freya would never work with them, that's on your experience, right? So yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. I'll see you guys in the next 29 days of Freya. Much love, and goodbye.